Hi, it's Grandpa Butler. The grandkids wanted me to teach them some art, but they're all moved kind of far away. So I've been practicing watercolors for started the last couple of years, and since May of 2021, I started doing watercolors with crayons and then permanent ink markers, and I found that pretty fun and relaxing. And so this is a fun way, I think, to do art. So for my grandkids and others, we're going to explain the threefold process, and thanks Soren for helping with all the technical advice. First is we're going to do an object, and we're going to color that object, and then finally we're going to do background, 1, 2, 3. The object here is going to be an American Coot, a bird found out in the west quite often in the summer times, and swims on a lake. Doesn't have webbed feet, but does have big toes, and so it gets around the lakes. So our coot here is, we're going to start with our drawing here, and I've got a pencil sketch in here, sort of started out. Again, I keep apologizing, but I have some neuropathy, so don't be thrown off by that. Don't give up art. Say, I undertake art, I'm going to be shaking like Grandpa Butler. I don't want to shake like Grandpa Butler. No, you don't have to shake like Grandpa Butler. Unless you're dancing with Grandma Butler, and then you can shake like Grandpa Butler. The funnest things I've done in my life has gone dancing with Grandma. So here's our bird. It's got kind of a big dark eye here, and so the idea here is we're not only drawing the outline of the bird, but we're putting in some kind of rough details, like where does in the picture it kind of change color, and what's the shape of the feathers, is there any general pattern to that, and those kinds of things here. So we're getting in the tail here, and we're going to put a line here in the water. Not quite flat, it's coming forward a little bit here. And maybe we'll just do a little bit of water being displaced here as a reminder to Grandpa that that's happening here. Okay, so I think we're kind of got the basic colors in, some of the basic shapes, and the basic patterns here. So what we are going to do is now erase the pencil marks we had as our markers to try and do a good job, and then we're going to put our coot in a lake. So what I generally do is I pick an object and then I pick a background, and they're usually quite separate things, and so that's the way it is. The coot has a white bill and has a beautiful red eyeball, so let me put that in here. Okay, now there are lots of wonderful things about crayons. The portability, easy to take with you when you're on trips or backpacking in the mountains, and quite easy to work with in those situations. But one of the sort of downsides is, accuracy in terms of laying out the colors. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a brush, right? And brush open some colors from our thing here, and so that's not really the liability that it may seem as you watch me. So with the crayons, my style is to is to follow the shape of the wings and the birds and do that and brush in a manner that preserves those things. And leave some pigment behind, because I think pigment's a good thing. So now he's really got a dark head, so I've done him in a dark blue. So I'm going to put some red instead of doing a black head with a charcoal black colored crayon, and then make it. I'm going to mix this red here, crimson red, with my blue and get kind of a blackish thing that way. And I think it looks a little bit more like, I'm going to put a little bit of red, crimson red throughout here. Now the coot has a red beak here that's slightly blue in the middle, and got a bit of a red up here in the upper reaches. Okay. So that's our coot here. Let's see if we can liven him up. This is a this is a regular, well, not regular, but a brush I find very useful to take with me when I'm working with watercolors and crayon versions of them. When you brush after you put it down, dabbing is overall best, but if you're not going to dab, then brush in the direction that you put your strokes in your crayons, which is in this case the kind of directions the feathers are folding up here. At least Grandpa has found that convenient to do that way here. And leave some of that pigment behind. Call it the proof of life pigment. Is that patented yet? No, I just patented it. Let it be, so let it be said, so let it be written, so let it be done. Oh, my lawyer children. Proof of life pigment left behind. Surely some more august way of saying that, right, than the one I just chose, but you know. Okay, that's a bird. Wow. Of course, there's a bit of reflection. I'm putting him on the bottom because I really didn't want to deal with that, but it would be kind of something like this, right? And especially dark around the line that separates them, so I'll get my red back out here. And do especially dark all over here. And I don't know, I'm going to do the background and see if I even want to do any more lake than other than this reflection. Each painting is an experiment, not done before. Usually not those color combinations before, so hang in there. Just Grandpa's having fun. This is another way of having fun, is doing a little experiments here in real time. Economies of scope, as my economist children would say. So, okay, so we got this in, and Grandpa just got a bunch of paint on his hand. Where did that come from? Probably down here. Grandpa saw this part of his bill and he just wanted to touch it up. Okay. So 1 and 2's done. Now what we need to do is add the background here. The background here, right, the coots here are going to be on the edge of a lake, so I'm going to have edge of a lake kind of weeds here. And there'll be kind of this crimson red. I'm also going to have some ochre. Okay. And that line right here, maybe if I put a little blue in here and did this, maybe that would be a better defining. If I'm going to have the bird reflected, oh, Grandpa, you didn't even think about this when you started. Maybe I ought to have some of the reeds reflected here too, even if I don't otherwise put in the water. Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, so there we go. And behind the reeds, I'm going to have a little bit of mountain here. So I want to do kind of colorful western mountain bowl where these lakes usually lie. So we're going to have, I'm going to outline the bowl here with this I think it's a cobalt blue, and kind of suggest where some of the mountains might come in here. And then when the mountain's less steep, we'll have some snow in here. How's that? So sections, let's see if we can do all that here within time. We'd like to. Okay, so there's kind of a mountain. And the mountain here, we're going to have bases of the mountain with snow, and so I'm having that be not snow, and the white things I have not painted in be kind of snowish, and layers, fields of snow coming off this mountain here. You kind of see what I'm trying to get to, and then I'm going to put kind of pine trees or firs, depending on your elevation out here in the west and location. Okay, we'll put some of this color here. Now, what colors? We've done cobalt blue, and we've done this color here. So let me do add this into some of the mountains, so it's sort of kind of integrated color look. And then here we have snow coming down, and then at the bottom here we'll have trees. So I've got to put those in. Okay, Grandpa. Now Grandpa's looking at this and thinking, I probably did too much mountain stuff. So let me do the edge of the snowfields here. Well, by that I meant I probably put too dark a pigment in there. I want to emphasize the bird, so I don't want to have the mountains be distracting, but I want them to be interesting. As we have very interesting mountains, and they're interesting at different times of the day. Okay, I'm going to put kind of the impression. And again, Grandpa's impressionism means that forgive him, he knows not what he's doing when he's painting. That's the way it is. Okay, so we got those, and now we're going to mix the apricot and the cobalt blue in the mountains rendering here. Go around and get the edges here up to there. Partly could do just the blues, but it's kind of fun to see different colors. well, okay, let me confess, it's kind of fun to experiment. And so we are experimenting here. And whether or not it's a good experiment depends on whether or not you want to buy this picture, which will be on sale. The original on my Etsy account here before long. Grandpa Butler art. Okay, coming up here. Okay, so I'm kind of happy enough with that. And we got the snowfields in now. Notice that a lot of the pigment was left here in the mountains. I think it gives it character, sort of speeds up the process of trying to all do this too. So we have a lake here, and we have some trees growing here. And so let me put those in here. One of the advantages of working with these crayons is that these trees, the shore is closer to us, so these trees are going to be more prominent here and just on the other side of these reeds here. The coot is located here. So we'll do smaller and smaller trees over here. And since there are trees going up the mountain, we'll use different greens. There's a regular green. This will be a moss green here. And in just a second, we'll do regular green going up here. So you get the idea. Grandpa's just showing you, giving you some ideas on how you can have fun with painting. And until we touch this up and look at it, we don't know whether or not this is going to work or not. These colors and things, how it'll all go together. Let's do the shore here. The shore is kind of a smooth, dark area. And come up from there. So it's best, I think, when after we get the shore part in, from now on, that we kind of dab the trees in. And so we don't have to have non-white everywhere. We don't have to do a lot of things. What I think I want to do is do an art that's fun, easy can do, and that can be done in fairly quickly if that's what you want to do, or take a lot of time if that's what you want to do. And we're doing, in these art lessons, we're doing the quick versions here. Okay. Yeah, what's that? Is that good enough? Yeah, I think that's good enough. So what we need to do in the final step is touch it up with the coot. Really wasn't too much detail to add in here in our American Coot drawing. A little bit on the reeds and stuff. On the bird, it's a pretty dark bird, so I'm okay with it. So that was fun. Hope you had a good time too. Thanks for watching. See you next time.